Lily Madwhip, Must Die. Chapter 15. They All Fall Down. Felix Clay is a rotten person. I don't really know that much about him, but here's what I do know. Some of it is based on personal experience. He is a murderer. I don't have proof, but I know he started the fire that killed Meredith's family. He was going to kill Meredith, but then decided not to. I forget what his reasoning was, but he was going to abduct her and raise her as his own for some reason. He is not a real magician. He just plays tricks on people and uses his slippery, weaselly ways to make people think he is. He has made a career out of it. In another life, he could have been a really good therapist. Maybe. Even then, he tried to kill me. He loves his son. The loss of his son is what sent him off the deep end, into the murdering, kidnapping, arsonist portion of his life. He's really clever. For all the awful things he's done or tried to do, he's gotten away pretty much scot-free. That's what makes him the most dangerous. He has, so far, managed to be 2 steps ahead of everybody, including the entire angel totem system. He's a coward. The one time I got the drop on him, he just ran away. He even threw away his most prized possession, a locket with a photo of his son in it, just to escape punishment. But despite all that, I feel like I don't hate him so much as feel pity for him. Maybe that's another one of his greasy talents, making people pity him even though he's killed people. Heck, didn't he say he was torturing Duma somewhere for information? I should add torture to his list of bad things he's done. 6. He's willing to torture people for information. What the hell is going on? Asks Felix. He and his friend Jin are looking at me and Samael. Samael is dressed in a skin suit that looks exactly like me. I'm not entirely sure how he did it. I just remember it was so painful I almost blacked out when it happened. Also, he was covered in blood. He said it's mine. I'm pretty sure I've still got blood in my body. I don't feel even slightly dizzy. Usually when the nurse draws blood, I get dizzy after. Samael somehow came out of me with a bucket of blood on him, and I feel fine. I'm not exactly clean myself. I'm covered in Nate's angel blood. I didn't mean to get it on me. I slipped when some girl grabbed my arm and I fell on the cow pitcher full of Nate's blood and broke it. I got the blood all over me and a nasty gash in my tummy area from a piece of the pitcher. "Sisters?" says Jin. He mutters something I can't hear, then produces the thing I knew he was hiding in his hand, a knife. They've done something to Dutch. I told that lummox what she was, what they are. "There's no they," says Felix. He squints at Samael. He squints at me. He squints at Samael again. This is some kind of trick. He takes a step back from Samael. I feel a rush of relief. I've been holding my breath ever since Felix and Samael got within just a few steps of each other. "I told you not to come back here, Lily." He's looking at Samael as he says this. "Why couldn't you just leave me alone?" "Like I've left you. I didn't kill your family. I didn't kill your little friend. I've been trying to rebuild my life." Samael takes a step toward Felix. Felix takes a step back. "I told you." He's not dumb. The magic you've used to hide yourself does not belong to you. Samael tells him, "It's mine." I've come to take it back. He raises his fist in some sort of dramatic fashion that just looks silly when he does it in my body. Felix only snorts in a way that reminds me of my brother Roger. "What are you talking about?" "Yours. All those birdies screaming in your empty skull have given you a complex. I wonder what Roger's doing right now. He's got to be having a better time in the Vale than I am here. Maybe I'll ask Pashar if I can visit him in my dreams. He can tell me about adventuring in the weirdness that is the Vale, and I can tell him about how I got stuck at a carnival with the devil and Felix Clay, and I just got to stand around and watch them talk at each other, instead of fight in a climactic battle like you'd see in the movies." As if to make matters worse, Madame Wendy appears behind Felix and Jin. She's got a big, angry look on her face. She must have heard the commotion from when the tent caught fire and decided to make sure it wasn't me. "Sorry, lady, but it was. Not that I didn't try to keep my promise to you and leave, but other people had different plans." "I told you to leave," she shrieks at me. "You made a promise. Felix stops staring at Samael and slowly turns to look at his fortune teller lady friend. You told her? He says, sounding. What's the word? Oh, right, dumbfounded. What a strange word. You mean she came to you and you, what, just told her to leave and thought she would? Well, Lady Gwendy seems suddenly more flustered than angry. I gave her that stupid doll. That's what she wanted. She doesn't want you, she just wants the doll. So you gave it to her. Felix sighs and puts his hand to his head. He runs his fingers through his greasy hair. I can practically hear the squeaking sound of his fingers slipping through the nasty locks hanging off his head. And then she went and started a fire? He glances at Jin. Jin nods silently. And now there's two of her. Felix gestures at Samael and me. I'm not with her. Samael makes one of those head nods backward at where I'm standing. He's off a bit because he doesn't look, but he gets the overall vicinity right, I guess. I came here for you. He points a bloody finger at Felix. Felix just laughs at him. Why shouldn't he? Samael is just a 12-year-old girl covered in blood. He looks about as intimidating as I do, because he is me. Oh wait, maybe he's going to rip out of my skin and reveal his true form. I wait for 5 seconds. Everyone's just standing there quiet. Felix looks amused. Jin looks confused. Lady Wendy looks angry. Mr. Dutch isn't even part of this anymore. He's crawled over to hunch up against a barrel. I feel bad for him. I want to go tell him that I'm sorry that weird girl kicked him in the crotch for me. Okay, I guess Samael's not going to rip out of my skin. You think I'm funny, little weasel man? Samael takes another step toward Felix. There's a metal click in response as Madame Wendy pulls a pistol gun out of the folds of her crazy outfit. She points it at Samael. Samael ignores her. Maybe he doesn't know what a gun does. Probably he just doesn't care. I gave you the power to see the dark secrets other people tried to hide, and you literally threw it away. Excuse me? Felix steps backward again, bumping into his henchman Jin. How many times do you think you fell asleep after that day that I wasn't sitting on the edge of your sad little dreams? Every night, Felix, every single night. I wanted to see what I had gotten so wrong about you, to learn from my mistake when I entrusted you with Raziel's gift. Samael does some dramatic gesturing with his hands. My hands. I feel like I'm watching a home video of me performing in a school play, but it's filmed from the other side of the curtain, where I don't get to see myself act. Lily, whispers Pashar, stay calm. Don't draw attention to yourself. Remember, you did what you came to do. Whatever else happens here, it's not on you. If you see the opportunity, just turn and walk away. Did I? Did I do what I came here to do? I look up. The buzzy black cloud is lingering over my head. I reach up to touch it, but it's a cloud. Meredith, are you in there? I want to believe that it's her. Will it follow me if I do what Pashkar says? Jin interrupts my thoughts. What's the other one doing? I look back to the show, going on in front of me. Oh, whoops. Everyone has turned to look at me with my hand up in the air, gently running my fingers through the black cloud over my head. So much for not drawing attention to myself. I pull my hand down quickly. Sorry. Enough of this, Samael says as he steps toward Felix again. The power of runic magic you've dabbled in is outside your pay grade, little man. Consider what I do here a service. Didn't you learn enough when you stole the secret of it to know that it comes at the cost of your own life? Wait, what? Madame Wendy interrupts. What do you mean? I mean what I said. Samael gives her a shrug. I made every rune come with a cost. Otherwise, people would be slapping runes everywhere. And judging from the number of runes I can feel in this field, Mr. Clay here probably won't live past a couple more years. Each one is draining him constantly, endlessly. You get all the protection, but a shorter lifespan? Wendy doesn't look at him. She's staring at Samael. But he used my blood to draw the runes. I want to say you could have heard a pin drop but we're standing in a soft, grassy area, and I think any pin you drop here would be quietly lost. Basically, it gets real quiet. Felix closes his eyes and lets his head drop. Jin lowers his knife and gives Wendy a confused look. I check on Mr. Dutch. He is looking at the scene about the same as I am, just sort of a spectator to all this weirdness. He looks at me, and I think for a moment that we share an understanding. Then we both look back at the others, Felix and Samael and Jin and Wendy, in their strange performance piece. Well, this is awkward, Samael finally says. Wendy turns the gun on Felix. I can see that her hand is shaking. She might just pull the trigger by accident. She waggles the gun at him. You knew that, didn't you? That's why you used my blood and not your own. There was no special power by using mine instead of yours. You were just going to let me die. Felix gives his lady friend a side glance, but he doesn't take his eyes off Samael. Really, Wendy? You're going to just believe this crazy girl? What did I tell you about her? She's here to destroy everything we've built together. It certainly explains why you needed so many runes. Samael rubs his chin. It makes my chin tingle, even though it's not my chin he's rubbing. Some common as dirt mortal with no gifts trying to add something this large. I could have hidden this entire fair with just one. He nods at Wendy. I'm gonna do you a favor, miss. I can't roll back the clock on the years you've lost thanks to this coward of a man, but I can certainly stop him from draining you of one more second. Samael holds up his arm and digs a nail into the flesh of his wrist. I should have trimmed my nails so he couldn't do that, but it's too late now. He's doing it. He's not flinching about it either. I wonder if he actually feels anything in that body. We can all see the blood start running down around his arm. It's like that scene in a vampire movie where the vampire is going to let somebody suck his blood and he has to cut himself for them. He always does it at the wrist. I guess the skin is thin there or something. What are you doing? Yells Felix. He has his hands behind him, touching Jin. I see him make some sort of quick, subtle gesture and Jin slides around him like a snake around a pole. Samael isn't looking up. He's busy really digging that nail into his arm and getting a good little bubbling fountain of blood to run out. Jin moves just like the snake person he seems to be. He almost weaves back and forth like one even. You know how snakes don't just go in a straight line? They have a sort of U pattern they do. He moves like that. Sort of. His body does, but his steps are straight. I can't explain it. He's just slithery. Madame Wendy isn't noticing Jin either. She's staring at Samael carving into his arm. I wonder if she'd warn him anyway, even if she did notice. I don't really know with her at all. Should I say something? No. Paskar said to not draw attention to myself. That's right. Just lay low. Look for a moment to walk right out of this shit show. Or is this it? Is this that moment? Would anyone notice me right now if I just left? Maybe Mr. Dutch. But he's not really talking right now. Jin shows the knife. Not like he waves it around in Samael's face, but I can see it in his hand from where I am. I don't need to have Pashkar's gift right now to know what's going through his head. He's going to stab a little girl. Because that's just the kind of person he is. I want to say he's evil. Yeah, he's a bad man. Just like Felix. Only Felix seems to like not getting his hands dirty. I bet when he was going to steal Meredith away when she was alive, he was going to use her for bad purposes, just like he uses Jin. I'm sorry. I get distracted easily. Jin is about to stab me, and by me I mean Samael, who he thinks is me. Come to think of it, this is actually terrifying because it means if Samael hadn't shown up and Jin and Felix had found me alone, it would probably be me they were about to murder in front of a bunch of onlookers. Would Master Dutch let them get away with it? What about that girl Nance who kicked Dutch? Is she still close by? Before Jin can reach him, Samael says something chanty like, it sounds like my O Piagaba something, and then he whips his hand out and there's a small spray of blood in the air. Nothing seems to happen. Jin stabs Samael in the neck. I gasp. It's quick. in and out, and then there's another spurt of blood. Only this time it's coming out of Samael's neck, and he puts his hand up that he didn't just use to spray blood from and holds it to his neck. Right to the point, Samael laughs. There's blood running out between his fingers. My blood. I can almost imagine the feeling of something sharp being jabbed into my neck. I remember the sharp pain when Tony, the child stabber, stabbed me in the gut. Now there's another stab spot from that stupid cow pitcher in almost the exact same place. Samael and me were getting full of holes lately, just two little girls covered in other people's blood and with too many stabby holes in them. Lily, Pashkar almost yells in my head. I can see everything! So can I. I see the ground in front of me slick with blood. I see tents on fire. I hear people screaming. Not the happy screaming you do when you just went fast around the corner of a roller coaster, but the bad kind of screaming you do when the roller coaster goes off the rails and you're heading toward the ground at 82 miles per hour. I see me, like I'm outside my own body. I'm standing in the middle of it all, with a grin on my face that can't possibly be mine, and I see a gun being pointed at me from a bloody hand, and the trigger is pulled and part of my head shears away, like when the side of your hand accidentally rubs against a charcoal drawing. Only this charcoal drawing is made of bone and blood and brain. And then I'm back, standing there watching Jin grab Samael by the hair and tilt his head back even as the blood is already running out of Samael's neck. Jin's knife is runny with blood. He puts it under Samael's chin. My chin. The runes, I say to myself, they're all gone. I reach up to my forehead, where Samael had rubbed his finger earlier. I still don't feel any pain from my tummy wound. Is my rune still there? What did you say? It's Felix. He's looking past the murder show of Jin and Samael and staring at me. I look back at him, right in his weaselly eyes. The runes have been destroyed. Samael grabs Gin's wrist. Jin looks confused by this. He seems to try to move his arm. He can't. Then there's this sound like someone snapped a thick branch, and Jin's expression turns to panic. His arm seems to move funny, like the half attached to his shoulder is pulling away, and the half on the other side of Samael's hand bends in a completely different direction. He screams, dropping the knife and letting go of Samael's hair. If he thought Samael might let go of his wrist in return for letting go of Sam's hair, he was mistaken. Samael continues to hold him by the wrist while squeezing it hard enough that even so many feet back I can hear the crunching of bones. Is Samael getting bigger? He looks bigger. He looks like a teenager version of me for some reason. There's blood running out of his neck. But his neck seems to be stretching upward. His arms are longer too. In just seconds, he looks almost as tall as Jin himself. Do you know who I am? He hisses in a weirdly distorted version of my voice. I'd say he sounds like me if I was gargling and trying to imitate my mother's voice. I am Samael. Sithrol, you are Ash. He grins and looks around at all of us. His teeth are not my teeth. They look sharp. They look like Samael's teeth did when I first met him. I have a place for each and every one of you in my pit, Samael says, taking a moment to eye Felix, then Madame Wendy, then me, then Mr. Dutch. He turns back to Jin, struggling and wailing pathetically in his ever-enlarging grip. That's where you go, Sean, my boy, right through the city gates, and then you... He points at Madame Wendy. Madame Wendy shoots him with her pistol. Her whole body is behind the shot. It actually kicks so hard, she falls over onto the grass with a yelp. But the shot hits regardless. I don't see exactly where it hits from my place behind Samael, but I see a blossom of blood pop open in his back and splatter the partial setup of a carnival booth behind him. Samael stumbles backward, cracking more of Jin's arm in the process, who falls to his knees wailing and trying to dig his fingers under Samael's grip on his wrist. But Samael quickly steadies himself. Good shot! He coughs for a second, A nice, filthy ditch for you in Malabolge. Or maybe I'll scatter you to my 13 friends. Cagnazzo would love to grind your bones between his teeth. 1,000 years of suffering. You'll lose track after the first week. I promise. He finally lets go of Jin's mangled arm. He's gotta be 7 feet tall now. He looks like my reflection in one of those creepy mirrors in a funhouse. I can still see features of myself in him, but he's also got Samael's eyes. He looks at me for just a moment, just the briefest turn of his twisted neck to make sure I'm still standing here like an idiot, instead of running for my poor, pathetic life. My legs feel suddenly warm, uncomfortably warm. I'm not gonna say it, but yeah, it happened. You would do it too if the devil looked at you with the same grin. What the hell are you? Samael turns to Felix. You, traitor. Your soul is so tainted with sin that it will take longer than the remaining days of the sun's warmth to scrub you clean, but you'll not feel a single ray where you're going. Straight down to the middle, Clay. Casitis, where my proxy lies weeping. They think he has 3 mouths, but his mouths are as infinite as the veil, and I'm going to stick you, kicking and screaming, into one and spend maybe a bit of eternity watching it gnaw you. You always have a flair for the dramatic. Oh God, I know that voice. I was so busy watching Samael torture Jin and make weird threats about putting Felix in someone's mouth to chew on that I didn't even notice the ground around us all had gotten considerably dark. I can't even see my feet anymore, and they're right below me somewhere. That's because there's a thick, black fog that has surrounded the group. Mr. Dutch is chest deep in it, but he doesn't see a thing. Dumas steps out, still in the Uncle Fester body, but wrapped in some sort of blue plastic tarp. There's a rope tied around his waist holding the tarp in place, which is good because it's kind of clear that he's got nothing on underneath it. What on earth were they doing to him? Brother! Samael roars excitedly. There's no point in terrifying them before you kill them, Sam, Dumas says dismissively in his monotone voice. They're not going to remember this. Excuse me? Dumas acting like killing us all is a given. And look, you've made the child wet herself. He waves his hand in my direction. Everyone looks at me. Everyone except Jin, who is rolling on the grass, clutching his crushed wrist. Seriously? I yell at Duma. Is my bladder problem really more important than the insanity that's going on right now? I don't know what comes over me. It's that red bleeding sense of uncontrollable rage again. The one I felt when I still had Samael inside my head. It's like we're connected still, even if he's in another, uglier form of my body. It pulls the strings that lift my arms. It tugs the wires that close my hands. And then it yanks the chain that flicks my uncrushed wrist, slicing the veil in a microscopic tear right across Duma and Samael as they both stand there, looking at me. This time, the blood spray from Samael is much bigger. A thin, scarlet line opens across his midsection. I think for a second that I cut him straight in half, but he seems to recover from it simply by grabbing the lower half of his body just under the cut and gripping it tight, like a firefighter trying to hold their pants up after losing their suspenders. An angular section of the top of Dumas' head comes off, but no blood comes out. It just slowly peels to the side from gravity and then falls with a soft thud to the ground, leaving Dumas' skull exposed. Somehow, I did not damage Dumas' skull. I'm sorry, I whisper. Dumas reaches up and feels the spot where his skull is exposed. He glares at me. This skin has lasted me more than 2,000 years. What the hell is going on? Mr. Dutch finally speaks up, loudly. Dumas balls his fists up furiously. Hell is right, he snarls. To hell with this charade. He reaches up and grabs the place where his flesh has been sliced away. With both hands, he starts ripping it apart. The sound is sickening. Felix and Madame Wendy both watch this with the same look of people who just spilled their whole bag of marbles down a sewer hole and have now completely lost all their marbles. If they survive what's about to happen, which I don't think any of us are, they're going to Sunnydale with me, and we can all bounce off the walls in our padded room together. One big, happy family of marble-less individuals. I'll be honest, watching Duma rip his own face in half makes me leak a little bit more, but at this point, who really cares? I don't think I'm alone now. Dutch's eyes are bugging out of his skull. I'm not going to look at his pants, but they're probably as soaked as mine. Someone is cackling. I think it's Samael. It might be Madame Wendy. I can't be sure. A pair of black, leathery, bat-like wings spread out from behind Duma as he rips the skin suit down all the way to the blue tarp, exposing his actual skeletal form. The wings arch up toward the night sky, then seem to vanish into black smoke that billows back down around him and turn into a similarly black, leathery robe. But we all saw them, not just me. I know because Jin, despite clutching his arm, starts screaming like a maniac and squirming backward away from Duma. Dumas rolls his fingers of his right hand out in a fancy gesture and a long stick appears. He grips it, and I hear a familiar shing sound as the long iron blade slides out the top. He now looks just like he should, like the Grim Reaper in all the cartoons made flesh, except the flesh is hanging around his midsection like a deflated balloon clown. Really? He says sternly, glaring at me even though he has only eye sockets now, and no eyes. A deflated balloon clown? That's your description of what I just did? Dang this stupid head injury. Wait till you hear her describe this, Samael says, twisting around on his midsection like an office chair, popping the vertebrae in his spine as he bends at an inhuman angle and clutches Jin's head with fingers that have grown insanely long. Allie! Oop! And before Jin can shriek again, Samael rips his head off.